It's so weird trying to start without intro music.
Well, you just do the whatever it was. Boom, boom, boom. Woo,
It's like when Will's not here, the whole thing kind of like falls apart.
Will,
Where is he?
where you said he's in Tennessee?
He's in Nashville today.
What's he doing over in Nashville?
I think he went there with family, and I'm not exactly sure what he's doing there, but I do know that him not being here becomes a huge inconvenience to our lives. So Will, come back because the production value of this show drops significantly. We have one angle. We have no intro music.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we started recording already.
Yep, we have.
This
I think
is
so.
it.
This is it.
Oh, welcome. You know, it's so weird not having the intro music because I don't know. It's something about that music like triggers me.
No, it's part of the process.
It is. I need the trigger. I need the emotional trigger.
Well, okay, well let me see if I can roll up a Matt Kim podcast real quick, and we could put the music through the mic. Here we go, guys.
I'm just not in the correct mindset without the music to get me going. It's like this psychological trigger, which like gets you going. You know?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find this one of our long forms, and we're gonna start it off here.
Maybe the older ones start like right away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So.
I was not gonna talk about this.
Who's not?
Good morning, good afternoon, good
Oh,
evening.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna talk about this today. Actually, I didn't ever want to talk about this again because I'm kind of sick of talking about this topic over and over again. But somehow, we get stuck back into the cycle of talking about this issue that we're trying to avoid. And every time we talk about it, we have to worry about the lawyers, we have to worry about the bankers, we have to worry about, the cancellation and the demonetization and the platforming. And dude, we just want to live our lives. Let's do it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back in the game.
I am ready. That's crazy how that works. I feel good. I feel hyped. It's something about having that intro that just changes the game.
Matt's body is ready. Welcome, guys. It is another Thursday. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. Smash the like button. Welcome, everybody. We are having a conversation today.
It has been an interesting week.
Yes.
It is. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
I'm like so over the news right now.
Yeah.
Like literally nothing seems to be changing. It's just news after news. And the entire news cycle at this point, to me at least, it's just propaganda over propaganda over propaganda. There is like literally nothing true in the news anymore. It's just political entertainment at this point. And I am like my frustration or my fatigue with the propagandization of our minds and our lives.
You're at all-time high.
I'm like kind of over it right now.
He is at full capacity, my friends. Full utilization of his brain. He hasn't been fried yet, but certainly we have gotten to the, let's just say, the oversaturation point where almost none of the news actually has any value.
None.
So we had a couple things happen. Let me just remind us. We had the JFK files drop. Ooh. And so from the internet...
Fat as nothing burger.
As the internet sleuths have found, we came up with a whole bunch of nothing.
Nothing.
Apparently. And what we have realized through the JFK files and the unredacted version of it.
The redacted version.
Yeah, the redacted version is that the CIA and Israel were involved.
Whoa!
Oh, mind blown. The more you know. The more you know. Double rainbow, guys. What else is new?
Well, what else is new is that apparently we're supposed to have this Epstein list dropped.
Yes.
Nothing.
We've also had Tesla's blowing up.
Tesla stock is dropping.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Because people find that it is impossible to conceive that this man is consulting to our president, and it's so important that we send a message that we firebomb all of his products.
Which is even crazier because all of these government officials have been making TikTok and tweet videos of themselves buying Teslas. And then the Henry Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, tweeted out that people need to start buying Teslas again.
Yep.
And I'm thinking like, that's fucking illegal. How can the Commerce Secretary, a sitting cabinet member of the United States, start shilling a product because that's a friend of the administration. That's crazy, by the way.
I mean,
Can you do that?
It's almost like buying shares of a company and then a month later signing legislation to allow that company to do more business in a particular area.
How is it any different than Nancy Pelosi doing what she does?
Kind of what I'm talking about. It's fascinating how all this legislation gets passed that only provides value and benefits to the individuals who sign on it.
And then Trump's like, I hate electric cars. Electric cars, you have like range anxiety and this is shit and it doesn't work. And like, oh, but we love Teslas.
Yes.
Like, oh, we do now?
We do. Brother, you didn't get the memo. We love Teslas now. That's how it works. When the mainstream media tells you what to think, you must comply.
And I just missed in the news that apparently the co-founder of Airbnb is a member of DOGE now.
Yes.
And I'm thinking like, wait, Airbnb, didn't they just cancel a bunch of people and close their accounts because they were politically, ideologically not aligned? But that's okay now?
Yes, it's all normalized.
That's fine.
It's nothing to see here, Matt.
We are rewarding those that were surveilling us. We are rewarding those that are careless with their data. We are rewarding those that use their platforms to censor us, monitor us, to give us financial harm. And those companies are now rewarded, and it's bullshit.
So let me add a little bit of color to your media fatigue, as you say. Is it not that it's a media fatigue or news cycle fatigue, but is it that you're just so red-pilled, maybe even black-pilled, that it's just like you just see beyond the veil now? Like you see beyond. We got the Matrix behind us, right? You see beyond.
We are
the Matrix.
deep in the Matrix.
You see the Matrix, and so you're no longer titillated, if that's the word. You're no longer titillated. Your fancy isn't titillated. You aren't intrigued anymore because the Matrix is real. Is it media fatigue or the fact that you just know too much?
I think, well, two things I want to say on that. Number one is that we use the term black pill. And I think a lot of people are going through this black pill moment.
Explain to the neophytes what a black pill means.
Well, black pill is this dystopian future and all these levels of control, and you're starting to see it all, right? But the black pill is actually considered the pill of no hope. You can't do anything to stop it. This is going to happen. It's really like the ending of 1984. The dystopian future is coming, and there's nothing you do about it. People reference 1984 all the time, not realizing that the point of the book is that it's happening no matter what you do, and you can't stop it.
I think the last lines of that book is when he looked up, tears rolled down his eyes, and he finally realized that he loved Big Brother. Something like this. Yes.
It's coming no matter what, and you can't do anything to stop it. It's actually a message of no hope.
So being black-pilled is not a good thing. It's like being in a point of despair.
Correct. I think that, though, that I believe those things that the black people believe, except the key thing is I actually do have hope. I do think that we can make a difference. I do think that we can change it. I do think that there's an opportunity, although that opportunity window is closing. I do feel like this dystopian future that we are having shoved in our faces that seems inevitable, I don't think that's the only actual outcome. I think there's a parallel outcome that we come. And obviously, we've been talking about that a lot offline, and maybe we'll talk about later. But I do feel like there are solutions, and there are people out there in the world that will figure out solutions so that we do have hope, and you can retain hope.
So let me understand the balance here, because these terms have been thrown around so much. We have red pill. So red pill is a tier higher than black pill. So you get red pilled, which means you get woken up.
Yes.
You realize there's a matrix.
Yes.
Right? And you're starting to see things. You're a noticer. You're seeing patterns, these types of things. And then from red pill, you get to black pill, which means you now see the matrix all around you, and it moves you to a position of despair in that you cannot change the behemoth. The machine is moving forward, whether you like it or not, and so you just comply? Or is what you're saying is that when you get from a red pill to a black pill, that there is a beacon, there's a little light of hope that says, you know what? Screw the system, forget the machine. I'm going to try to make a change. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know what to call that pill. I don't know if it's a different pill.
Is there a pill under black pill?
I don't. Is it under black pill, or is it parallel to
I
Blackpill?
should look up the tiers of pills.
Or is it half a step above Blackpill? I don't really know where to fit this in the pill economy.
You've been called red pill and black pill. What
Yes.
would you say? What would you say? Because for the interested parties on the internets, what would you say you are? Are
Well,
you
the
more
most-
red pill or black pill?
The most obvious thing is I'm a yellow pill.
Where's Will? If we had Will, he could be looking this stuff up instead of me looking it up.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, red pill, black pill tier list is what I'm going to type in.
Did someone really make a tier list?
Of course, there's tier lists for everything, bro. Tier lists for boobies. There's tier lists for everything, man. All right, let's see. No, this isn't the right one. I'm not.
We're not going to find it. There may be another pill, and maybe one of the SARS watching this can let us know what that alternative pill may be.
Yes, it would be nice to know. So we were talking about, whether it's not decision fatigue, but it's media fatigue, or it's you've been black pilled. So is there a balance between that? It's just like I just see too much. I know. We don't have to push this button too hard, but Matt clearly knows more than the average bear when it comes to what's going on behind the veil and who's actually running the machines. We do know that.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here in the Matrix, and people often forget. I think I've mentioned this before. People often forget that at the end of the Matrix trilogy, we find out that Neo was actually a product of the Matrix.
Yes.
And the goal of the goal of Neo was not to destroy the Matrix. It's to reset it.
Continuity is the word I used.
Too many people are waking up, and therefore it means that the Matrix and system is broken, and they just try to reset it to a new version, because at the end of the day, the goal of the Matrix is to make sure that humans always stay inside the Matrix. It was not to free people. It was to make sure that they stay enslaved.
So do you feel like, and you have a really good pulse on what the kind of the normal everyday man feels because of your network and all of our amazing community and Discord members and people in Soju. Check it out, soj.oo. And so I would take a gander and say that your media fatigue and your black pilledness is probably pretty spot on and representative of a pretty significant swath of the American populace, right? We've seen so much. We've seen the shenanigans. We've seen the irregularities. We've seen the famous people in masks. Like we've seen the propaganda. We've seen the lies. Like Fauci should be in jail, right? Epstein's list should be out. The JFK files nothing burger, right? Teslas are blowing up, right? Like we're being trauma bombed so much that it's like not only are you just fatigued of everything, but it almost. Maybe that's the designed intent, Matt. Maybe the designed intent is to shotgun so much. I had this thought the other day. I woke up, I go through your morning routine, we check the news. I got this feed where I get all this news. And as I was looking through the news, I was like, shit is happening so fast that you almost don't even have enough time to consume and digest what happened yesterday. And it's almost that so much is happening so fast that you just can't You can't unscramble any of it. And so I would feel like some people would want to just exit from the Matrix and say, screw all this, I'm done, right? Don't even read anything. What's the point? What's the point?
I mean, I get that. I feel that sometimes. I think I went through maybe like 5 days of not really looking at the news.
Did you feel better?
Oh, I went back in after 5 days like, oh, I didn't miss anything. Like everything's the same.
Yeah. Let's see. People are still bombing people in Palestine and Israel. Ukraine people are still getting blown up there by drones.
Zelensky's still rich.
Still rich, hanging out with all of his homies. Hollywood's still doing their satanic stuff. Epstein's files still not released. Diddy is hanging out with Sam Bankman-Fried in jail, and we have Tucker interviewing him in jail, which was so weird.
Well, he did ask a really tough question.
Which one was that?
He said, Sam Bankman-Fried, did you get a prison tattoo? That was hard-hitting, by the way. Hard-hitting.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Hard-hitting.
You got it, Tucker. You've upgraded, man. You've done it. You've escaped the Matrix, and now you're interviewing guys in jail. Excellent work. Excellent work. So what else is new? People are probably also wondering, like, What happened to your voice, Matt? What's going on? Like your voice is sounding as fatigued as mine is usually.
We've had so many projects going on right now in the background, and I've been on these calls domestically, internationally for 10 days straight now, like morning and night. And I think just all those meetings are just catching up to me. And on top of that, I think my daughter was sick, and I don't know. It's better today than it was 3 days ago, which is why we didn't record yesterday.
Well, yes, and we don't want to be too flamboyant about shilling our own stuff here, but Soju is something that you're spending a lot more time on.
Yes,
it's this amazing freedom platform. That's the way that I like to see it. A freedom platform that allows people to have social discussions without constraints, and we're seeing some pretty significant growth. So I think maybe a couple people might be interested in how that's going, because I know that is partly the reason why your voice is gone. You've been talking to a lot of people who are interested in this freedom tool that you're building here.
This Soju app that we're building, it's so amazing. The community and people go on their first time and they're like, holy shit, these guys are so racist. Right? This is just a cesspool of racism. I hear that a lot.
You failed to remember in episode 69 that Matt did say he was racist.
But I think that seeing that content for a lot of people, it's a little shocking. But the reality is that seeing it proves that we actually believe in this idea of free speech. It seems shocking to you because you're coming from such controlled areas that you don't realize that that's actually how the world talks. Actually, if you were in a video game, if you're a Gen Z, you're 25 years old, you're 22 years old, and you're a video game, that's exactly how people talk right now.
Bro, the N word is like a more common than the word the.
And what I found really interesting in the app is that although people fight, there's something about them fighting and being on opposite sides. You have the Christians fighting the Jews, fighting the Muslims, fighting the blacks, fighting the Asians, and everyone's fighting each other. But they all kind of get along, actually.
Yeah.
And we've had a few people crap out, be like, dude, fuck this place. It's too crazy for me. I'm out of here. And then 2 days later, be like, I'm back, guys. Meaning the product and the platform is sticky.
Yeah.
You leave and you're like, no, like, yeah, it was kind of weird. And I got in a fight and, that guy was trolling me a little hard, but I kind of miss it. And people come back, which is amazing.
Now, if I can speak to that particular use case and that experience, I understand that. And the reason is because if you spend time in Soju, then you, for the first time, maybe for some people, their eyes are finally opened up to what a social town hall looks like without any walls or constraints, no filters. It's like, wow, people are actually talking about this stuff and they're using flowery language. Then you leave that and you go back to this controlled apparatus, this controlled state, and you're like, holy cow, like everything's deeply sanitized and frankly, there's no feeling over here.
What you thought was edgy now is vanilla.
Exactly. You're like, oh man, we're over here, we're talking about Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro. Bro, like we're way beyond that, bro, over here. We're talking about Kanye talking about how Hitler had some really great attributes. Right? Did you see that clip?
No.
Oh, there's a clip from Kanye on, I think it was at Alex Jones, where he was talking. He literally said something to the effect of, like, I really like Hitler. He had some really good like characteristics or personality traits or something like this. So we're not. Soju isn't at that extreme, but dare we say it? Soju allows for that to be said.
I think the best way to handle conversation and discussion is that you let all ideas be out there, and through it, number one, both opposite sides get a certain amount of respect for one another, because it's like the closest friends I have in life are the guys that I got into fights with when I was 16 years old.
Yeah. You
have that bonding experience and you understand each other. Yeah. You've kind of been at it with each other. I think that's really what's happening. Whenever you build a new technology or a platform, the hardest thing to do is not get people to look at it, not to drive people there, because eyes, like you can buy eyes, right? You can throw money at anything and get people to notice it.
Yes.
To get people to actually use it is not easy.
No. It actually has to be useful.
That's the biggest hurdle. How many platforms out there that people are like, oh, we're an alternative platform, and they get 100,000, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million users, and you go on their platform and it's crickets.
Or it's no different from what you transferred over from.
You'll go, it's like 10 million users. You go, and there's 2 comments. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, it's dead.
No action. And you go on Soju, and people are like, all day long, all night long. Some of it's shit posting, some of it's thoughtful. Sometimes people put out something like you never expected, and that never expected topic has like 100 people talking in it.
And so
I love it. I think it's so amazing. I actually prefer hanging out there, and it's not because I'm biased. It's because I actually enjoy hanging out there.
And I will say it can be it can be jarring to the individual who's never experienced this type of semantic freedom.
Yes.
And because like if you go to the homepage and you just start scrolling, it's gonna be
wild.
It's gonna it's gonna be a shit post, and then like this like deep thoughtful consideration about race and IQ, and then it's another shit post, and then it's like holy cow, and why I think that actually has really unique value in today's overly curated, timelines, is that it allows you to see a broader spectrum of what people are actually thinking about and what people are, I think most importantly, willing to talk about. Like you would hesitate before posting 50, or maybe over exaggerating here, but you would hesitate to post 50% of the stuff that's being posted on social, on other traditional platforms. You'd be like, should I sanitize this word? Should I change this word? Does it need to be more palatable for a wider audience? In Soju, you can just be like, fuck off, fuck the shackles. I'm just going to be talking out of my asshole. But here's the thing, though. To your point, you are closest with those who you've had friction with. There's nothing like a relationship where you've punched each other in the face.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like, if you're friends after punching each other in the face, that friendship's going to go a long way.
Solid.
Right. And so we could take that model and say, I would rather have you, Matt, rip off the Band-Aid and tell me how you really feel. Like, fuck beating around the bush. Fuck the placating and saying flowery language. Tell me who you really are, who you really feel, so at least I know exactly where you're coming from. And if I disagree with you, I don't have to engage with you.
Exactly.
But if we find some common ground, maybe I'll learn something from you.
And I think that eventually, because of the nature of the platform, because of the freeness of the platform, we will eventually be attacked by people that don't like that. And I think that moment we'll see everyone bound together, because I think it's actually important. I really do think that this type of discussion forum is necessary for humanity. I think that the people of the world will gather on it. I'm actually really bullish on the idea of it, more so than ever before. And it's up. There's nothing that people can do to take it down. We don't IP log. We don't harvest any data. There's nothing to steal. We have a white hat program that's been going this entire time. We've had hackers all over the world try to break in, try to infiltrate, try to create problems. So far, so good. No issues. This thing is built to scale. And, like sometimes we push it, sometimes we don't. Actually, it doesn't matter because it's going to grow no matter what.
And speaking to your point, the people who are going to disagree with this platform existing are the same people who, in the middle of the next morning after Trump's win, on the TV, they're talking about Trump at up 60%, and they're saying, our democracy is at stake while staring at what democracy voted for. It's like, you've missed the narrative, sir. You missed the narrative. You cannot be saying that democracy is at stake when democracy is staring at you in the face. 60% preferred this man over this woman. Period. Full stop. And so that type of irrationality is the type of argumentation that's going to come to Soju. They're going to say, we don't like your free speech. Why? Democracy is at stake. What do you mean, bro? This is democracy. This is open. This is open forum. This is exactly what you want. It's hurting my feelings. My vagina hurts. Okay, well then leave. Leave. Find another place if your vagina hurts that bad.
Yeah, I think we have a new goal. We're going to try to take a big chunk out of Reddit. I think that's very easy to do.
It's nice to have a big fat target.
Yeah, because there's no real competitor Reddit.
If I may, I also added Quora into that, into our narrative. Because Quora's dying too. Quora's being taken over by AI, and the value there used to be...
There's no value in Quora.
Well, if I can take a step back, Quora used to be technology experts and experts in areas where you ask them questions and they respond. Now it's turned out to be the everyday man, which some people will say, which is great. No. not everyday man needs to give you the answer for everything, right? And some of those answers are terrible. And now that they're using AI, the AI suggestions are freaking horrible. So you have these huge behemoths, Quora and Reddit, which are pretty much the answer space for a lot of things. Those things have failed us. That is old tech. So
yeah, so we definitely think we take a chunk out of Reddit. You know, like they are overly controlled, they're overly moderated. It's like 16 super mods that basically control the entire place. They've been over corporatized. They are basically taking all of your information and all they're doing is feeding OpenAI and ChatGPT. That's exactly what it is. You are the product. Every fourth post is an advertisement. Yeah. If you get blocked from one subreddit, then you are IP banned and you can never come back. And you could get banned on the political subreddit, and then all of a sudden you're banned on the golf subreddit. I'm like, wait, how is that even possible?
It's possible because there's only 17 mods for the entire site.
And then we're also finding out that the CEO of Reddit actually went into people's posts and was actively editing them. Mm-hmm. Wait, can you stop there real quick? The CEO of Reddit was going into people's posts and comments and editing them himself.
Yeah. It's almost no different from Wikipedia because Wikipedia is constantly re-edited all the time.
It's crazy.
History's fake, brother.
We are very bullish on the idea of no edit, no delete button. I love it. I think the people that originally come in like, dude, I need to edit, I need to delete. And then now it's like, oh yeah, like it works. It makes sense. I actually love it. It's the best decision we've ever made. No edit, no delete.
Say what you're going to say and say it the way you're going to say it. That's it.
If you mess up, everyone knows you can't edit. People understand it.
Then reply. Reply to your own self and say, I was a dumbass for saying that. Great. Thank you for your self-awareness.
But in this idea, I think we've been developing more freedom tools because I really think that Soju is a freedom tool. You know, a way to be outside of the system, to have real discussion. And I think that more freedom tools need to exist. So we're actually going to start a suite of freedom tools.
Oh, is that right?
Because I think, why not? Why is every technology company and everything that we use like controlled and surveilled? And why does everything have backdoors to the government? That's crazy.
It seems like a mismatch of priorities.
I put out this tweet today. I said, privacy. What did I say? Damn it. I really like the way I said it.
You have to look it up real quick. Let's look up the Matt Kim tweet.
I said privacy something.
Yes, you did. I'll read it here. Here we go. Privacy is the right to choose what information you share, not just the privilege to keep what they allow. They claim to respect your privacy, but in reality, it's just controlled permission. Well, you are borrowing their tool after all. So they kind of have that undersign, that's fine print that nobody read that said they kind of have full control.
They're normalizing that. We are allowing it to happen. All the VPNs log you, track you, give backdoors to the government. The email providers.
VPNs today are the biggest scam. Can I say?
Give backdoors to the government. Yeah, everything.
Most all VPNs are scams.
Well, most VPNs are owned by the Israeli.
Well, that's what I'm about to. Well, you just gave away the punchline,
Sorry,
brother.
Punchline.
So you think you're paying this $5.99 or $9.99 whatever a month for this VPN? You're getting nothing, SAR. Nothing, SAR. You're getting poo on a stick, and they still have all your information.
You get the ability to jump to another location so you can watch content that is geo-blocked in your location.
Fair enough.
That's the biggest play. That's what you get.
Well, then they should just say that. They shouldn't have all this. Right now. They shouldn't have all this hoopla about privacy. They still know who you are.
Yes, and they are tracking it. And when the government says we want this information, they willingly give it up.
Oh, bro! When the government comes in with little wee guns to these VPN companies, the VPNs are like, oh, yes, Amasa, no problems. We give it to you here, no problems. If you're gonna build a VPN, you need a VPN that has 3 simple values. We're not gonna log your shit. We're not gonna keep your shit, and there's no shit to give.
Yes,
that's it. That's it.
And
so you can watch that Netflix show finally, or you can watch that other show from Korea or UK. You can finally watch that, and no one will know who you actually are. Would be a good idea.
And we will have our own VPN in about a week. Yeah, we're working on a VPN right now. It'll be out in a week, and it's gonna be no data log. no IP log, and we are not a Mossad agent, so you don't have to worry about that. We're not tied to any government, so you don't have to worry about that. Basically, it is the only non-Jew owned VPN in the world.
I like the NSTS. No shit to share.
Nothing.
No shit to share. That's it.
I mean, it's the same thing we do with Soju, right? Is that if someone ever came to us and said, we want this information, we're like, we don't have anything to give you.
Yeah,
Everything we have is public.
Yeah, look at the public timeline, douchebag.
Whatever is public is what we have. Anything outside of what's on publicly on the site, we don't have any information to give you. That's how the systems have to be designed. But they design the systems. All the technology companies design the systems. They put all these levers. They collect all this data, and then they're left in this decision matrix of, okay, they want it. Should I give it or not? Remove that decision altogether because it's possible. We're finding out that it is very possible to do.
It is. However, there's a huge, elephant in the room called monetization, Matt. So the pragmatists in our audience would say, well, Matt, fair enough.
How do you make money?
They need to make money. So they need to give away part of their soul, part of their values, compromise on their values, which we've talked about at length before. You're not willing to do those things. And so they would ask you, the pragmatists would ask you, Matt, so how are you going to make money? How is this going to survive the long haul?
I have no clue.
And that's the most honest answer you'll get today, guys.
Because I truly believe that if you build a company that's supposed to provide a tool, usable tool for society and humanity, and if your goal is monetization, then the monetization decisions are going to dictate on how you build that tool. You should build the tool to be the best possible tool out there. And if it gets adoption and people use it and people care and you provide value to the world, that monetization opportunities will come because of it. You cannot let the monetization decisions dictate the direction of your platform, your tool, your technology, because then you become what everyone else has become, which is where the consumer, the user is the product, and all they're doing is building a mousetrap to get you in so they can sell you to the overlords.
Yes.
That is the worst plan and idea ever. And it actually is contributing to things like Airbnb, where they weaponize their system in order to control the narrative. Or X, where you are the product, actually not a contributor. The only way to solve for this is that you build systems and you build software and you build technology that actually provides value first without asking for anything in return. Because if you do that, the people will gather. And when the people gather, there will be monetization opportunities for you later. And it's not easy. Because a lot of people need money to go to the next level, Yeah. I get that. It sucks. That's life. We intend on figuring that out.
And we will intentionally do so with diligence, with wisdom, and try to make the smartest moves that we can.
Have to.
Right. The reality is that the future is unknowable. And so trying to plan a complex future is a useless endeavor.
For example, Reddit started as a product of Y Combinator. So they were a venture started product. They were not even supposed to be a message board. Reddit started as a website that was a aggregate of links from the internet.
That's right.
And they're like, oh, this idea sucks, but we already raised $5 million. Let's try something different. Okay. Why don't we just make a linear feed of different people? Like, okay.
Well, they added comments. You want to comment on
They're like, that kind of sucks because no one's using it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the two owners are like, hey, no one's using our site. Let's just make it look like people are using it. And for the first 6 months of Reddit, all the posts, all the engagement, all the comments, the whole thing was fake.
It was all, it was their own bots.
It was them typing to themselves, responding to themselves, making it seem like people actually want to use it.
They would look at you and you guys say, I got to fake it till I make it.
Their goal was to make money. The message board was a byproduct of them wanting to make money. And as people gathered, they're like, great, here are our product that we can sell, which are the users. And we're going to use them to make money. Their goal was never a discussion forum of ideas. Their goal was never free speech. Their goal was never to have an opportunity where people can learn, grow, share, etc. Their goal was from day one, how do we make the user the product?
Yes. Well, because their very inception, they had a monetary incentive to do so quickly.
And 15 years later, 20 years later, here we are, Reddit.
Yep.
Publicly traded, They made a shit ton of money. All the major shareholders are Sam Altman, media conglomerates, etc. And you are the product.
Yes, and
Plays a shit show.
Well, not only that, but it's completely biased.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even worth going to in most cases unless you want to be literally 2 lines away from some political toxicity, right? I mean, it's like you can't go there for anything anymore because you end up smashing your face against these toxic creatures and cretins that only exist for some reason on Reddit online in that area. And so this reminds me of this short story in this article that I read about digital fiefdoms and how today's SaaS-based companies truly are just digital serfdom. Right? Things haven't changed. In the old world, we had the rich overlords and you had the serfs, right? You had the plebs, you had the serfs, you had the ones that worked the land. And when you were a serf and you had kids and you knew that your generations would never be able to own the land. You would just till the land, work the land for the overlords. Nothing's changed, Matt. We have these digital overlords who have basically said, you will own nothing and you will be happy, which is the whole idea of you don't have to worry about owning anything. You don't have to worry about toil. We're going to provide all the services for you for a measly fee of $5.99 here, $3.99 here, $4.99 here, $17. Like everything's rentable, right? But you don't own anything and you are completely controlled. If you think about the digital landscape that we live in, every application you use from Gmail to LinkedIn to X, right, to YouTube, all of them are digital fiefdoms in which you are just a plebe, you are a pleb, you are a serf, tilling the land, and by the way, paying rent on that land because a percentage of all of your hard work has to go to the man. I mean, you truly have moved from the analog serfdom to the digital serfdom. Nothing's different.
And this leads people into the rabbit hole and the path to blackpillness.
Yes.
Because people are like, it feels like this is going on everywhere.
It's inescapable, actually, at this point in time.
And
I mean, what service can you conjure up that is truly free, that doesn't sell your data?
Well, I think that's why there's opportunity to do this stuff.
So
I think that's why it needs to be done.
So
there are people working on things all over the world, decentralized, centralized, whatever. There's so many solutions out there. But the reality is that someone needs to be like, all right, I'm just going to start putting it together and I'm going to do it because it's necessary, not because I feel like this is going to make a bunch of money. And I think the problem is that everyone does it under the premise of it's a good tool, but this is a great tool that we can monetize. And once you go down the road, you become the thing that you wanted to escape from.
Yes.
You have to be able to put that aside. Someone needs to, trying to, and do it in a more principled approach where actually the mission is more important than the monetization. And if you keep that as your North Star, is that we want to digitally free people. I don't know. I feel like that's something people can get around.
You're almost like the Nikola Tesla of platforms and freedom tools here, because I think it's pretty obvious that Nikola Tesla, one of his undergirding philosophies and values is that he wanted to have his inventions and the stuff that he learned about to be used for good for the world, and like free energy and these types of things. You've probably gone down that rabbit hole, right? And so he was unfortunately deleted and treated very poorly because he had ideas that would take away from the monetization opportunities that the bigger wigs wanted. And so the issue with freedom tools is you're going to be taking away eyeballs. You're going to be taking away the digital gold, which is human user data, away from these larger companies. And we should be, let's just say, what does the good word say? Gird up thy loins like a man and prepare. Because you can't be taking away their digital gold, Matt. They're not going to like that very much.
I think in order for this to become a reality, it does need to be a community movement. It's not something that one person can do. It is more of a freedom movement, a digital freedom movement. I think that even when I think about the very first early days of Bitcoin, the original members of Bitcoin, like the super OGs, it was not about when moon. It was about there is an opportunity in technology that can free us from the system and a finance system that exists currently today. And this is going to get us there because with financial freedom, you get real freedom. That was their goal and their ideology.
Yes.
And over time, it became when moon, when moon, when moon, when moon, when Lambo. But the reality is that even though that the new movement of Bitcoin has maybe hijacked what the original intent was. It created all these tools to make these new freedom tools possible.
Yes.
Because of Bitcoin, we have the ability to have these decentralized software because we have this open source movement that has grown.
Yes.
We have all these different cryptography-based systems and encryption now.
Yes.
And if Bitcoin did not take off and do what it did and lay the foundation for all these new technologies, we'd actually be screwed.
And therefore we can certainly give Bitcoin the respect that it's due, right?
Yeah.
Is that and I love the way you said it. I say it in different terms, but it's the same idea. Is I always make it very clear to my audience that Bitcoin started Web3. What is Web3? Digital sovereignty over three things: digital sovereignty over data, digital sovereignty over finances, and digital sovereignty over privacy. That are the three core tenets of Web3 in my estimation. And Bitcoin really brought the financial part of it. It brought the opportunity for privacy. Bitcoin isn't truly privacy, but then we have Monero and other coins that really did that well.
Zeno.
Yep, you got it. And then what was the other one? Data, the ability to and this is the data part, Matt. If I can just wax poetic on just for a second, is the thing that excites me the most is the digital data sovereignty, and how I translate that into praxis is that I should be able to turn on and off what data is allowable to be used and seen. That should be like, I go to a website and I say, I'd like to use your services, sir, and it goes, here's toggles. I don't want to give you this, don't want to give you this, don't want to give you this. You're okay with this because you need that. Don't want to give you this. Can I use your services? Yes. Like, I would be willing to take that extra 7 seconds to have the optionality to be able to be truly digitally sovereign in saying, there is a transaction happening here and I know exactly what I'm getting into. I think that is the world that I am excited about the most. And I hope and pray that amazing humans are building those types of freedom tools, though I know from a technological and architectural standpoint, it's ridiculously hard.
You are not free until you can be in control of your own finances.
Yeah.
Until you are in control of your own data.
Yeah.
Until you're in control of your own
privacy.
Oh,
bro, that's huge.
If you control those three things, actually you're free.
That's what Web3 and Bitcoin brought in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto.
And the reality is that the technology and the tools to make that happen actually exist today.
They do?
It's just about packaging at this point.
Yes, and many of them are just slow AF. That's the big problem. They're just slow. Decentralized tech is great, but it's just slow as fuck, dude. That's the problem.
This is a problem, you know? Like, I get that they work decentralized and they have these decentral methods of building because it's supposed to be safer and people contribute and all of this. But as you just mentioned, it's slow as fuck.
And the UI sucks right now, dude.
Because you have to wait for dev consensus on everything.
Yep.
To implement a change, you have to get a vote from everybody. That vote can take 3 weeks.
I heard an interesting argument about this, if I may. You and I were born in a time where we had to use dial-up, 28 baud, right, 56K. You remember this, right, when you're using the telephone. Exactly. Like, but let's be honest, though. Our expectations were non-existent when it came to speed. We were like, my homie just sent me this picture. It's like 700 kilobytes. He said it showed side boob. I'm downloading this thing on this AOL shits. It's going to take 37 minutes. But fuck. Mom, don't answer any calls. Bro, get off the internet. I'm downloading boobs, right?
Side boob.
Don't misunderstand the point. We've moved to a Burger King timeline where you can have it your way instantaneously. And so there's this great argument of lowering expectations for the younger generation and saying, hey, look, we grew up on 56K. They can wait for a decentralized future because the transaction takes 17 seconds. And when I read that article, the TLDR from my perspective was never going to happen. There's no way we're going to move back to 17 seconds. Let me get this brother, come on, get out of here. It's not going to work.
I am the biggest internet speed snob.
Are you?
I'm horrible at this. I
Do
will
you
go
do
to
the
hotel.
internet speeds checks when you go to a hotel and shit?
Yes.
You're that guy.
I will go
You're
to a
that
hotel.
guy.
I will check the internet speed, and if it's slow, if I'm gonna be there a long time, I'll move to another hotel.
Oh, bro.
And if the internet speed in that hotel is slow, then I'll make a mental note: never come back to this hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, because who wants to live in slow internet? It's the worst. I will not. I cannot handle slow internet in my life.
For my
it's like the one thing for me
Fair
that I
enough.
will totally bouge out on. You know?
Dude, fair enough. So you're the guy going to the Hilton and paying the $69 per day for the high speed
Enhanced internet.
Enhanced internet.
The enhanced internet.
So I never connect to any of that because my OPSEC, I'm so fucking paranoid. So I just never I will always just run it off my phone into my laptop.
I mean, I'll do that too if I have a high connection.
I will.
But if I go in and it's like 4G, like 1 bar, and I'm in a hotel, bro, it's time to go somewhere
Dude,
else.
I will
cannot do
Really?
this. No way.
I will eat that shit, man. I will sit there and be like, you know what? I just won't connect to the daggone fucking thing.
Dude, who wants to go online and wait for things to load?
Side boob is important.
Dude, it is. There's nothing more frustrating to me than waiting for, especially a simple web page to load.
So, what?
Like if I have to click a button and it's like,
But you're.
dude, I can't.
But you're a reasonable person.
No.
You're a reasonable man.
That's-
Like what happened in your life that caused you to have this bougie internet speed issue?
I have a really hard time like waiting in lines. So I don't do. When movie theaters used to be popular, because now there's no line in movie theater.
Oh, dude, Hollywood's dead.
But there used to be a time where you have to wait in line to get to the movie theater.
Oh yeah, those were good times. We actually chatted with people in those.
I would not go to the movie theater then because I didn't want to wait in line. I don't go to amusement parks because I don't want to wait in line.
Oh, you buy the fast pass?
Either I'm getting the fast pass or I'm not going.
Dude, this guy. Dude, your daughter's gonna want to go to some rides, man. Part of the amusement park is standing in the fucking line for an hour 47.
So I took my daughter
on, bro.
to Lake Lanier. They have the little area with.
I know exactly where the story's going.
With the
They had a fucking line of 14 people, and you're like, "Fuck this shit."
Well, I found one ride that kind of swings you around. You know, they had no feet, and it kind of swings you
Yeah.
around. And my daughter wanted to get on, and she's like maybe 6 inches too short to go on it. But the person's like, yeah, as long as you hold her, like you can get on, which is super sketch because she can like slide right through. But whatever. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And my wife's like, I don't know if she'd do that, And I was like, no, I think we'll be fine. So anyway, we're like swinging in the air, and there's no line. So my daughter wants to go on the teacups, but there's a line. I'm like, baby girl, we're just gonna ride this again.
Because it's all about Matt, guys. It's all about Matt. He can't get in that line, not even for his daughter.
That teacup ride looks like about 15 minutes. This one we can get on immediately.
Bro, is it like that?
And she's like, and my daughter doesn't know. She hasn't been on the
You're a
teacup
party
ride
pooper.
yet.
You're a party pooper. So you're telling me you forewent the opportunity for your daughter to go on a daggone teacup ride because you
Well, at the same time,
sadness,
she really
eternal sadness.
She likes the ride that's maybe a hair more grown up for her. Meaning that she has she's become more adventurous because she's not in the little teacup, but she's like riding kind of a real ride.
I see.
So I saw a little bit of value there too. So it was a little bit line thing, a little bit I wanted to do something that's a little more scary because she already did it. We don't have to go backwards into like the really kid shit. But it was a line.
You're still a selfish asshole.
Yeah, it was a line. Tico had a long line. This didn't have a line. I don't know what to tell you,
So, guys, now you know Matt Kim's biggest pet peeve is internet speeds. If you invite him to do a podcast with you, invite him to do an interview, you invite him out to your event or your conference or whatever, if you have slow internet speeds, not going to happen.
I would rather have no internet.
You're an extremist.
If I have no
You're an internet extremist.
If I go somewhere I have no internet, I don't have to worry about my phone. I'm not worried about checking it. I'm not worried about looking at it. I'm not tempted to look at it. I have no internet. Put it down, I'm done. I do something else. But if you have slow internet, it seems like the worst waste of time. Because I can accomplish on my phone with high
You're
internet
an internet speed extremist.
what I could do. I can do 3x with faster internet what I can do with slow internet.
So you're the type of guy that if it's
I'd
slow,
rather have no internet.
Fuck it. I'd rather have nothing.
Turn it off.
Oh, that's I'm sure you're such a joy.
She'll fence me in my hotel room, give me no internet, and I don't have to think about it.
You just told me so much about your relational dynamic with your wife. You must be a joy when it comes to decision making. It's either all or nothing, baby. We're either going fucking balls to the wall and doing it, or not fucking doing it at all.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it.
I don't like mediocre.
A good excuse. We'll take that.
You know, I like when things are done. I like them to be accomplished. I like them to move quickly, and I don't know. You get stuck in this loading circle. Apple used to have the rainbow circle.
The circle of death, man.
The circle of death.
You got it.
There's nothing that frustrates me more than the circle of death.
I remember that. So what is new and what is next on this Matt Kim journey? Because we're a quarter through 2025 already.
Has it been that far already?
We're right there, brother. We're right at the tail end of March.
I think, well, number one, for people watching and listening, and a lot of people say, man, I feel like you should have more views or viewers or subscribers, etc.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, they keep cock blocking us. Bro.
Our most recent warning, 2 warnings, it releases on April 22nd.
Okay,
April 22nd, our warning and our timeout with YouTube goes away.
How many
April
warnings?
22nd, we're going to go hard and see if we get another one. But right now, that is officially the date on the calendar, April 22nd.
I was actually really impressed with your Dr. Shiva clips.
Yeah.
Like you bleeped out a lot of things.
We walked around a little bit. And people are like, we want the whole thing, and I get it. But dude, we're in this YouTube timeout right now, and we've been in it for about 2 months now.
Yeah.
We have 1 month left.
Yeah.
We just have to survive till April 22nd.
But
If you're gonna,
everything you just said is true, but man, it sounds so cuckish for you to be like.
If you're gonna build in someone else's platform, we are forced to live and work by their rules. If you want to do whatever you want, however you want, then the only solution is to build your own platform, which we're doing.
Yep. So we play by the rules of the digital fiefdom that we're under.
We are slaves to the rules that enslave us. We have no choice. And we do know if you go log into our YouTube studio, it says April 22nd, the warning goes away. We're counting that shit.
We are. We're going to bring more Dr. Shiva. We're going to bring
April 22nd, because just in case it's like on at the end of April 22nd, I don't know.
April 23rd.
April 23rd, we are going to have a party. Everyone's invited. We're going to go big. We're going to go hard. And April 24th, we may be back in jail.
I was about to say we're going to go big, we're going to go hard, and we're going to get demonetized and deplatformed immediately.
But until then, we're in survival mode. It's not what we want to do. But again, YouTube is not our home.
So what would you...
I think it's really important for people to realize that. YouTube is not your home. We are literally renting space on someone else's platform.
Not wrong.
We are a guest on YouTube.
Not wrong.
They can remove us at any given time.
Not wrong.
So anyone that's a YouTube creator should always know this is not your home.
So what do you have planned for April 23rd in terms of offending the overlords?
Ooh, I don't know. Should we go shoot some guns?
Well, gun content has been becoming censored these days. I've seen several YouTubers who had their entire YouTube deleted.
Gun content is allowed on gun channels.
Yeah.
If you are not a gun channel and then all of a sudden you get into guns, they're like, ooh, you can't do that.
You're crossing into a different
Maybe
area.
go shoot some guns or something. Do you know what I really want? Did you see the new Teu guns?
I did. There was brought up by our, let's just say, Korean friends of ours. Yes.
Yeah.
The Daewoo.
Let's see if we can get our hands on one.
We should be able to get some hands on some Daewoos.
I don't know.
I heard they're pretty good. I've never shot one.
Me neither.
So we're gonna be blowing stuff up on the 23rd.
Maybe either physically or.
Well, let me ask you. What do you
I don't know
think
yet.
could get us an immediate ban hammer? If we went back into usury, because that shit's still flying around the internet. What do you think could immediately get us the ban hammer? If we came back?
I wonder what would get us banned. You don't really know. That's the hard part.
That is the frustrating part, though.
You don't really know where the lines are in YouTube, and it changes, and it forces people to over self-censor, and that's really their goal. Because if they told you exactly what you can and cannot do, then people would just go right up to the limit.
Which we've seen 1,000 times with Twitch. Every time Twitch makes a new rule, then the e-girls figure a way to go around it and say, well, you're not allowed to show cleavage, you're not allowed to show this, and then they have this huge mirror behind them where it's just like, okay.
So we know what Peter does at night.
I just watch. Yes, I watch Asmongold. That's why I watch Asmongold. I don't know if you know about Asmongold, but huge Twitch, streamer, video game. Like he's degen. I love him, and I actually get most of my news from him. Actually,
Really?
because he talks about Trump all the time. He's always dogging on Trump. Like I'm not lying to you. When it comes to mainstream media news, I watch that through Asmongold's commentary.
You are maybe the third or fourth person that said that to me in the last couple weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think we need to find him.
I've been a subscriber to him for a decade when he started playing WoW on 2005, something like that.
All right. New goal. We got to figure out how to reach and connect with Asmongold.
Oh, yeah. I can try shouting him out. Yeah. Why not? We can get Asmongold.
Let's go find him. Let's go find him.
He's
I want to
awesome.
find him.
He's awesome.
I've heard. I watched a little bit with him. I consume so little content. So I'm not the most culturally known out there. I don't really know who's who.
Well, you know more than the average bear, though.
I mean,
you're kind of playing it. You're kind of playing a little humble there.
I know people that I know. I don't know if I don't know them. So if that makes sense.
Actually, you just reminded me of something that I wanted to ask you a couple podcasts ago. It just wasn't germane at the time. You've talked to Tucker Carlson. You've talked to the Tates. You've talked to some of the biggest influencers and biggest talk show individuals on the planet. Who you've met Trump. Like, who else do you think you'd be super interested in meeting, talking with, understanding their side of the story? Because there's a lot of the flamboyant ones that we could pick out. Like Candace Owens would be cool. Like we've had a lot of people ping and say, "Hey, man, you need to talk to Candace," And so we've seen people like that come on your radar. We just never closed. So I'm curious: is there anyone that's out in the public square, big influencers like your Tuckers, your Tates, your Candace Owens type, that would be really interesting for you to talk to?
It's the one that I've been thinking about the last, a couple of days, is the one that no one will ever expect, actually. But I find it really interesting. Remember that girl, Lauren Chen? The one that got in trouble for taking the Russian money?
Yeah, vaguely.
She ran this company, got all this Russian money. She gave money to Tim Pool and Dave Rubin.
Right. Tim Pool, that's right.
Tim Pool is getting $400,000 a month from her.
That's right.
I'm curious to know what's really happened there.
Like what her story is?
Yeah. That's actually really interesting.
Maybe we can pull on that yarn.
How do you get infiltrated by the Russians? And then how do you convince other conservative influencers to take the Russian money? And what did that actually mean? And what's the complicity there? And how involved was it actually? I'm actually curious about that.
Oh, and you also want to connect with one of my favorite podcasters, Whitney Webb. I saw the line go out there. Did you get a connect?
I haven't found her. She's I think she's kind of the queen Blackpiller.
She is. She I don't see how she stays positive with all the shit that she knows.
But she's also not based in the U.S.
Yeah, she's in
Brazil or Panama
or Costa Rica,
something like that.
Yeah.
Whitney Webb is someone I'd like to speak with also. I think that a lot of these kind of freedom, anti-technocrat people I think are really interesting. They tend to spread outside of the United States now.
Yeah.
And I'm always been curious about that too. Is it possible to do what they do? Or is it possible to do something like Whitney Webb does, which is grow this huge network of people that question all the technologists? Is it actually possible to do that from within the United States?
I don't think so.
Then what are we doing here? Do we have to leave eventually?
Well, clearly.
Seriously.
Clearly you and I are not that important yet.
Yeah, but if it were to grow, if we were to get bigger, if more people were to gather, if Soju were to get bigger, if the VPN were to get bigger, if the end-to-end encrypted messaging platform that we're going to build that's on the roadmap, if that were to grow, if all these things were to grow, are we at risk being here? Because if not, why was John McAfee outside the country? Whitney Webb is outside the country.
Glenn
Even Greenwald is outside the country. Snowden outside the country.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of examples you can give.
Why are all the people that question the system of control that we have in America today, Why are they all living outside the country? Or do they leave because they're frustrated the way it is? Do they leave because they feel like they can't change it from within? Or are they cowards and are they running away from the situation when they can actually be here?
Certainly on the chessboard.
Or do they leave and become more radicalized because they're no longer here? I don't know. I'm actually curious to know, like, why people think why they leave.
It's probably a combination of all of those. It's probably an amalgam of all of those. But I think this is actually a worthy topic because the reality is that is certainly within the spectrum of potential, right? If you get big enough, it might be worthwhile to move yourself to a place that is a little bit more safe. So here's the question.
But
are you willing, though?
Oh, but hold on. That's crazy. How is America not the safest? Seriously. I mean, we say that like so casually, but like, let's take a second to just think about that.
It's not.
If you want to be free and you want to provide people tools to be free, freedom tools, which is like non-censored, not data collecting product, that's not radical, actually.
Yeah.
But if you want to give that to the population because it's a good thing, it's unsafe for you to stay in this country?
Yes.
You know how crazy that is, actually?
We have 19-year-olds who learn about the malfeasance in their companies, and they end up with bullets between their eyes, right? I mean, like
OpenAI whistleblower.
I know. I mean, we have. I don't even need. There's a million examples of those of people who know too much, or are trying to reveal something, or are trying to build something, or trying to disclose something, and they no longer feel that it's safe to operate within the United States of America. Like, this is, like, how many stories do you want to conjure up? There's thousands of them.
But okay,
like the reality is that if we think in some totality of like, is America safe? Well, let's take in gun violence. Let's take in other violence. Let's take in, drug abuse. Let's take in terrible social services. Let's talk about our inner cities. Let's talk about, like, if we add all that together, like, en masse, as a huge data set, America is not the safest country per capita in a lot of different areas of social life. Like, I mean, this, right? You're safer in the slums of Japan or Korea, and you're safer in the slums of China, or even in Russia, or not UK, but like
no, not UK,
right? You have the highest chance of getting killed by someone who looks nothing like a British person there, right? I mean, like this to be true from a pragmatic experiential standpoint. I mean, America is not what it claims to be if you look at it from the largest. And I'm not an America hater. I love America. We all know this.
I mean, but
I'm also willing to point out the flaws in our system. Right? I mean, the number one biggest issue for me, and we've talked about this, is, are you going to use my money to blow up other people? As long as we're sending money to other countries to blow up other people, I'm really disinterested in almost anything else that politician or leader has to say. Because if you're going to blow up other people using my money, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in America first. I'm interested in making America better. I'm interested in making America industry better, and anything that we can do to improve America. But right now, America is under duress. America is under stress. The political system is broken. The Democrats are completely in shambles. There is no unifying vision for that side of the party. The red side of the equation has completely taken over, and almost to a point where it's like, whoa, it's almost too much now. And if we were to do tit for tat, the red is doing exactly what the blue did the last 4 years. Except we kind of like them, and they're kind of better looking.
They're supposed to represent our side.
Yeah, we kind of accept it because it's like, you're not ugly with blue hair and you're not 500 pounds. So maybe you can usurp my freedoms just a little bit more, SAR. Please give me more SAR, right? Like, America's not moving. We got the real estate issue. We got incomes going this way. We got real estate going this way. We got inflation going this way. We just had the Fed just yesterday talk about tax rates. More inflation is what they're saying for the foreseeable future. No reprieve. The tariffs don't seem to be helping. Like, we're not in a great spot right now. We're better than what we could have been under Kamala the totalitarian. But I don't know by what measure and how much more better we would have been.
I mean, the solution that America has right now for these problems that you bring up is let's build central banking digital currencies, more control.
Yes.
Let's start surveilling people to make sure that the illegals don't get away with shit and we were able to deport them. So let's surveil people,
Yes.
more control.
Yeah.
Let's start monitoring what people do online, and let's start making sure that there's no hate speech or anti-Semitism, more control. So the solution to all these problems that you have is more control.
Oh.
And the people that want to fight that, I don't want to be controlled. I want privacy. I want to be able to own my own data. I want to be able to control of my own finances. I want to be able to control my own communication. If I give you $5 in cash, no one in the world has to know that I gave you $5 in cash.
Ain't nobody got to know.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But now even the dollar or the penny that I send you is tracked, monitored, put into a database somewhere for future use or reference. God forbid they categorize as illegal.
If you send me over $100 on Cash App, they're going to make sure that you pay taxes on that. But they don't know where the $50 billion went last week.
And maybe I send it to you and you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. But someone that you spoke to that's associated with somebody else that kind of knows another person, that guy's a bad guy.
Yeah. So therefore.
So you're within the 6 degrees of separation, which is literally everyone in the world.
Yes.
Because you're within the 6 degrees of separation, I kind of have to take a closer look at what you're doing.
Yeah. And actually, if I'm too bad of a person, you might have to actually cut off my services.
Like Airbnb.
Yeah.
Kind of the guy that's involved in DOGE now.
Kind of the guy that... can we just sit on that for just a second?
We were just coming around a circle.
Dude.
And at the... Hold on. Hope. Okay.
I mean, DOGE, I'm looking at DOGE and I was kind of excited about it. It's like, efficiency, we're seeing all this stuff. But all of the stuff they're doing is like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Like to all the other stuff we should be looking like military spending, healthcare, all that crap. We're just bleeding. And so it's truly a bread and circuses, man. This DOGE thing is like taking a percentage of a percentage and saying, we're saving you all these billions. Yeah, but if we look at all the other waste, you're like, it's a hangnail that you're improving. And so I feel like DOGE is turning out to be, dare I say it, another nothing burger in which we've just been fed bread and circuses, but at the same time, we wake up and we realize that our privacies, our security, and our data, and all of that has been usurped even further, and our freedoms have been even more constrained. I feel like that's what ends up happening anyway. Don't you? Am I wrong in this think? Am I in 1984 Orwellian? Am I in wrong think here, Matt, in feeling this way?
Privacy is the right to choose what information you share. I think that's really important for people to understand. Because right now we're in a system that is absolutely upside down.
Yeah.
They take everything and they tell you what you can keep. Yeah. That's bullshit.
DOGE is opening up the floodgates of like, not only did they already say that they want mass surveillance with Palantir and Peter Thiel and all that stuff, but we're actually in a weird, sick way, we're saying yes, more master, yes, and we're allowing them to. The encroachment is moving at such a speed, Matt. I cannot keep up with it. Like we at the tail end of this, when the whirlwind is done, we're gonna look back and be like, they have everything. They had everything before, but they have even more now, and we've actually given them the access keys freely for them to go through anything and everything all the time.
I mean, even with this whole like crypto reserve that they're talking about, and people are like, oh yeah, Trump's gonna start the Bitcoin reserve. Great. They didn't buy Bitcoin.
It's from the Silk Road.
They confiscated Bitcoin
from Ross Ulbricht.
They kept it. They actually ended up spending half of it.
Yeah.
No idea where they spent it. No record of how they spent $500 billion or whatever it was.
It's probably the poppy fields in Afghanistan.
And then they're like, oh yeah, you know this money that we confiscated from people?
Yeah.
That we commandeered? We're just going to make it our bank now.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
But we gave you the man back.
Huh.
We gave you Baraba back.
Yeah,
right?
we gave you back with
Baraba.
nothing. We took all the money. We're going to use half of it. We're not going to tell you where we used it. I swear, nothing shady.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the rest of it, we're going to make a bank. And we're just going to charge you more interest on it again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great.
Oh, yeah, actually,
It was amazing.
And actually,
Thank you, sir.
well, yes, thank you, Sar. And actually, once we have this installed, then we're going to create potentially stable coins and use these other shit coins potentially, so that you can move over to, so you can be fully digitally tracked.
And all the stable coins will be issued by Bank of America,
Yes.
and Morgan Stanley,
Yes.
and Goldman Sachs,
Yes.
and Chase Bank.
Yes.
You know how you wanted all these digital freedom tools so that you can interact and operate outside of the system of banking and finance? Well, we're just going to put them in charge now.
Yep.
Great, to the moon.
To the moon.
We're going.
Yes, I'm going to the moon with XRP. This thing called Ripple Nipple is taking me all the way to the moon. All the way, guys. Ripple Nipple.
But the ideas of freedom still survived.
So far.
And I think that this is something that we have to be aware of, that although that these tools that the original founders of this movement have created, maybe they've been stolen. But they've given us the tools to be able to create more. And we don't have to go through the process that Bitcoin has gone, which is that you had the idea and then all this economy, all these tools had to be built over the last 20 years to support it. We get to benefit from their work. They've built all the tools. They've built all this encryption. They've built all these things that we can now use. I'm bullish on the future.
Well, on that positive note.
Check in, SAR. See you there.